What's up, everybody? This is Stacking Bits. Got me a microphone, and I'm going to break down some of my thoughts and perspectives on where Bitcoin is and where it might be going. Share some perspectives. Love to hear your thoughts on some of what I'm going to have to say here. Let's dive right in so I don't drag on too long. We're going to start with some volume study, volume analysis on this thing, on price action up to where we are now. And if you're not super familiar with volume profiles, this might look like an absolute mess right now, what we're looking at. So I'm going to do just a super quick run through, try and blaze through this and just get, just a brief rundown so everybody can follow. So volume profile, what is it? It is a breakdown of where volume relates to price. Price moves up and down. Volume comes in and out of the market according, with price action. So these bars are measurements of how much volume comes in at what the price is, at these prices. We've got some different colors to signify some things here. These pastel colors, the oranges and the greens up here, signify lesser amounts of volume, average amounts of volume, general ranging, trading, insignificant volume, if you will. While these purple and blue bars signify value volume, is what it's called. So significant amounts of volume, larger transactions. And these colors on the right side are selling. Colors on the left side are buying. Pretty simple. These dark red lines, these things signify, it's called the point of control. The point of control is the single highest point of volume transacted during the measured phase. Obviously, I have multiple, I've kind of measured each and every leg separately just to draw some significant points of interest in price action throughout the entire course of this phase. I started the measurement here at around 5,500, which is where the leg really started and blasted its way up to around 20K. And then obviously we came back down to around 6 grand. So this giant move from 55 up to 20 and then back down to 6, this massive move dominated where price action was going to go. This dictated where we were heading for the next several months. So I'm going to measure that first. And what we come up with is the highest point of volume during this entire leg through 5.5 to 20 and back down to 6. Our highest amount of volume came in right here in the 11s, in the low 11s, 11.1-ish. I've drawn some blue boxes in some of these areas here to signify points of interest, key points of volume. Now, what do we care? Why do we care about the volume, about these points of control, about large volume? Because nothing in price happens without volume. And if you look at these points of control and these large moments of pivotal volume moving in and out of the market, you'll find that they create significant points of resistance and support and price action in the future. So that's why we pay attention to it. And this is basically how I use it to make decisions in my trades. So moving on, so we're talking about this mass move that dictates the rest of price action for several months. This starting back in November, leading all the way back, to today's candle. So let's measure the next move. We measure the next move up. Now, if we're going to watch this next move, we bounce here at 6K, and where does price go? Not coincidentally, it drives its way right back up into where this volume left. This point of control, it comes boom. And why is that? It comes into this range and doesn't pass it because this amount of volume leaves a massive amount of resistance. This is basically a wall of resistance that gets left here. So price smashes into it and then we get a leg down. And if we measure this move right here from 6K up to this 11K range, we can see our volume right here starting from here in the 9,500 up to 11-ish. Our point of control right around 10.6. And if we move to this next leg down and watch that, followed by this leg up, where does this leg up go? It smashes right into this volume. This one has a lot less strength to it than the previous the previous rally. This one smashes, hits this first point of resistance, and it's pretty much done. It makes its way back down. Now to measure this leg down from 11 back down into the 6s, we're going to find a fair amount of consolidation that happens down at this base level, and this measuring this leg up from the bottom to the top. Both this leg down and this leg up feature the majority of the volume falls right in this area, so that creates an enormous amount of support. And if we're watching that, we're thinking that perhaps there's a possibility that this massive support is going to give us the launch pad we need to blast off of and see an actual reversal. But this leg down indicates otherwise. This thing acted like a slinky, weak price action. Just chart structure not respected at all at any leg in this thing. A gap left here, slinkies down, just bleeds. Gap left here, no correction. Another gap here, no correction. Just this is just lack of confidence. That's what this entire range of price, this entire leg down, just screams lack of confidence in the market to me. This blue box, in case you're wondering what this is, I don't have this volume profile visible right now, but measuring from where we started this phase of action all the way to today's candle, this is where the point of control is right here. This is the meat of the volume for this entire phase. If you go back, you see we've obviously got this big candle here. And if we slide through this thing, you can see we have some consolidation here. So plenty of volume transacting there. We come through here, plenty of... every leg that passes through this range, we see some transaction, some consolidation, some distribution, volume taking place. That's just a quick breakdown of where we are, though. We've seen, and here we are. Price was very weak on this entire leg down, and we've just bled down into this range here, and we find ourselves below. There was no bounce at all on this support. That we just bled right through it. You can see we came down, we bounced really hard right here off of this blue box, off of this guy right here. We popped up into this volume and just bled right back down through, crashed through this support. Test, pop, crash. And now we're down here. So if I'm going to analyze this thing in a logical manner, it's the first thing I'm going to notice is I look back up above, where eventually at some point we're going to climb our way back up through all that resistance, and one day all this mass amount of resistance is going to turn into a beautiful support that we're probably never going to come back down through. It's going to be good times for people in Bitcoin. But for now, I'm looking at all this, and this looks like a massive fortress of resistance. Just big wall here, big wall here, big wall here, huge wall, huge wall. So if I really want to break this thing down, it's just a balance. It's a balance of the path of least resistance for price. Is it to go up or is it to go down? So let's zoom out a little bit and look back, see what we're looking at. Measuring this last leg from around 1800 up to where we started this leg, we can take a look at what the volume is doing there, and we see our point of control, the highest point of volume was around $4,200-ish. If we look above that, between where price is right now and this whole range, volume is weak. If we look at the chart structure, we see price came up, had our high here, we came down, respected chart structure, perfect correction, bounced off of that previous all-time high, and made our way up, but price just ran away from us here, and it came down and it neglected to make a proper correction here. No correction. Gap, gap, gap right there. Volume weak. To me, that's just a magnet for price to come back down here. Path of least resistance, definitely in this direction. Is that a guarantee? Is that what's really going to happen? I have no idea. I'm not a genie. I'm not a psychic. I'm just a guy who wears a ski mask and lives at the beach, does his own thing. I happen to be super interested in Bitcoin and charts and all that jazz. So I'm offering my perspective to you guys, hopefully bounce some of this information off of you, see what you can make of it, see what your thoughts are. A couple of pieces of information that aren't visible here. There are some other pieces to the puzzle. There you can see this highlighted line I have right here, across here, this horizontal line that obviously price bounced off of right here, and we're hugging it right now. This price bounced off of it. That is measured from this bounce, from this correction to the top. From here to the top, our point of control is right here. So that is what stands between us, price right now, and down below. So I have to believe that the path of least resistance is downward. I've got some other horizontal lines here as well. I've done some other measurements. If we're measuring from this leg right here, this point at 1800 to the very top, we have a range right here. This horizontal line is at 4400 would be the point of control, and this would be our range. This is just like, this would be the volume bar. It's a massive volume bar. So anywhere between, say, 4800 and 4000 is the range. And I've placed this blue box out here. Now, what are these lines? What does this signify? Why exactly did I pick that? I'm going to zoom out, and this video is going to get way longer than it really should. Plenty of information, and I'd like to tie it all together, connect the dots for everybody. Zooming out, just looking at the entirety of the Bitcoin chart. Starting back in 2011, we have this channel, this bull trend channel that happens. Run up, boom, resistance, support, resistance, support, breakout. So this is a nice clean channel. Breakout here. Feverish bull trend blasts up. We have our correction here. And if we look, this previous resistance turns into a massive support for the upward trend. And this support, this previous support here, turns into massive resistance. So we churn away in this for over 2 years. This becomes what I believe will be enormous support in the future. And if we zoom in on the action that's happened off the top of this, it tells that story with consistency. We had a massive bounce, a retest when we really broke out of the channel right here. We did a quick little pullback, bounced right off of support, massive run up, the breakaway run, and we had one last check right on top of this channel of support before we blasted off. So I measured right from that last check. That's our leg. And then after that leg, we have the entire range of trading that we've been in since last November. Just tells the story. I got a lot of other details in here I could talk about that tie into this entire story, but let's try and keep the video short. But this all kind of ties together. If we look at this area of weakness here, this area that I have a tendency to believe is going to be a magnet for price action, you know, I have to think that price eventually makes its way back down into this region. Whether or not this upper trend line right here, this previous resistance becomes such a strong support that price never quite breaks down into there, is yet to be seen. We shall see. But that's my 2 cents, my 2 satoshis, everybody. Thanks for listening. Feel free to share your comments and perspectives and thoughts. Peace.